No!
Hey!
No!
Give me my money! Give me my money!
Please stop! Please! Please!
Son of a bitch!
Please! He should have paid you! He should have paid you!
here.
I'm sorry! I'm so
Come here.
sorry!
Kick your ass!
I'm sorry!
Idiot!
In 1981, America was hit by an economic crisis. Homeless people filled the streets, and some even collapsed from hunger right on the sidewalks. President Reagan Saturday in front of television cameras, reading through grim economic reports. Watching him on TV was an African-American man who had been unemployed for a long time. His family was struggling just to put food on the table. His name was Chris Gardner. Chris had sunk all his savings into a medical device investment, but nobody was buying the equipment. It just Saturday in his home gathering dust. He lost everything. His wife was forced to work 2 jobs, and the pressure was crushing her. She constantly lashed out at Chris with angry words. He was already 2 months behind on rent and had received a tax payment extensions. His car had been towed because of too many unpaid tickets. It had been ages since he'd last smiled. Then one day, he stumbled upon a place where everyone seemed genuinely happy. He stopped a man and asked what he did for a living. The man told him he was a stockbroker. Chris wanted to become just like them, so he quickly applied for an internship. But his education wasn't impressive, and nobody wanted to hire him. Chris refused to give up easily. Every day, he camped out in front of the company building. Finally, he ran into the hiring manager and personally handed over his resume. But once again, there was radio silence. He continued waiting outside the building for an entire month, until he spotted the manager again. Desperate to get a conversation going, Chris lead and said he was also catching a cab and happened to be heading in the same direction. Once in the taxi, Chris kept talking about himself, but the manager completely ignored him. Was too busy playing with a Rubik's Cube. Chris made a bet with the manager. He guaranteed he could solve the cube before they reached their destination. The manager didn't believe him for a second, but soon enough, Chris completed the first side, then the second, then the third. Just as the car pulled up to their destination, Chris finished the entire cube. The manager was stunned. For the first time, he really looked at the young man sitting next to him. But then Chris realized the manager hadn't paid for the cab, and he couldn't afford the fare himself, so he took off running while shouting apologies. With the driver chasing after him, he sprinted to the subway station and barely managed to squeeze onto a train, but his briefcase got left behind on the platform. Soon after, Chris' wife told him she was leaving. Chris made up his mind to raise his son on his own. Right after bringing his child home, the landlord told him he couldn't stay there anymore. Chris begged for 1 more week and volunteered to paint the apartment. The landlord agreed. Around this time, the hiring manager called to schedule an interview. The day before the interview, while Chris was painting, he heard a knock at the door. When he opened it, police officers were standing outside. He was being arrested for unpaid fines. At the police station, he pleaded desperately but still had to spend a night in jail. Chris had no choice but to beg his wife to watch their son. The next day, he was released just as his interview time was approaching. With no time to change clothes, he sprinted toward the interview location.